This time we're early instead of being late for once. Although we're waiting for Jose. We're waiting for Jose, who's on his way. Chris is still on the high seas, I believe. Just living the dream. And yeah, we didn't win again, which is super frustrating. But welcome to the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by Dave and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for stopping by and joining us for episode 62 here on the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. For those of you watching live on YouTube, thanks for stopping by, and be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the show. And a huge shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Matias, Chao, Abu Ava, and Marivi. Thank you so much for your generous support. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you'll find a link in the description wherever you are listening. And also in the description, you will find a link to our merch store where you can get super cool stuff like this and that and lots of other cool stuff. So check it out if you're interested in rocking our merch. That would be super fun. Also, shout out to one of our Patreon supporters, Nicole Harrison and other children. I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head. No. But they were at the game with some Heron Head merch. Are these the names? Samuel, Harrison, and Fiona. Excellent. So shout out to you guys for being at the game with the Heron Head stuff. Super cool. We got some pictures from them, and just cool to see. Hopefully you guys had a good time at the game, because it was a very frustrating watch. The second half and into stoppage time was particularly annoying. But how are you guys feeling?
Yeah, annoying is the key word there. The first half was fun, especially when we get an early goal, 15-minute goal by Suarez. You're feeling okay. This is good. Again, coming off the foot of Gressel, that connection seems to be on point. I wish it was more so during the match. He had a couple decent crosses in there. They were just a little bit off for whether it was out of reach or Suarez didn't hit it cleanly. So it was very frustrating. That second half was extremely annoying. They equalized it with a banger of a shot that Calendar had no business even getting in the way of that one. It was just, I was surprised by how hard he hit it in there. And then, yeah, after that, it would just seem like NYCFC was just content with just coming out of there with a draw, and they played that way. And the refs kind of let the game get away from them, and they were okay with this game being a draw. And then, yeah, that stoppage time was just brutal. There was nothing happening there, and we got kind of lucky that they had a really good chance at the very end, and that would have been a disaster had they come away with the 3 points. So a sigh of relief, but a 1-1 draw, not what we wanted to see against this garbage team. And I'm going to say it, the team is, there's no reason for them to have drawn with us. And yeah, it's my main issue. Well, I think we were talking about it before we started recording, is Tata's decision making, which seems to be a recurring issue now. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it. Jose, what were you feeling? I know you were out on the town, so I don't know how much you were able to really pay attention.
No, I was able to watch, and one thing that I noticed was that you said the Gressel Suarez connection that seemed to be just on point the whole game. What I was concerned with is we didn't get much production from the left side of the pitch as much as I would have liked. Gressel is great on his side, but I was hoping more from Robert Taylor. I didn't even notice him throughout the whole game, but I'm going to let you guys comment on that. One thing I liked was I thought Bright was a bright spot. I thought he was nice. He was nice to watch. He was able to get us out of some jams. Had a beautiful through pass that he played to. Was it Luis Suarez that he played? Yeah, it was. We had our chances, guys. We had our chances. We should have came out with this victory. That was my main takeaway from the game. I felt like we had way more chances where I was gasping like, "Oh my god, we're gonna win! We're gonna win!" They had two shots where I felt like, okay, they should have made that one. So so we can't really play that game, but it's like, just the way that the game was flowing, it did feel like they were parking the bus while we were just at their throats the whole game, and it just couldn't knock it in.
Yeah, I think that's part of the annoyance is that we actually had really good chances and we just couldn't finish. Suarez started off so well, and it felt like we were on the front foot for a huge portion of the first half before eventually New York scored, but it felt like everything was sort of clicking a little bit, and it was a little scary. So the lineup comes out, and at first I didn't even notice Busquets, and I was like, oh, interesting. They're going to rest Busquets fully. I was like, he's not even on the bench. And then I was like, oh, I wonder if Noah Allen's starting at left center back. And then I saw Busquets' name, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So
we're just never going to get the lineup right. That's what I've already come to the conclusion. We're just never going to get it right. Because every time everything that kind of makes more sense, it just says, let's try this now. They're never going to see this coming.
I'm really surprised that he went with that instead of Noah Allen. I don't know if he trusts Noah Allen at a 4 back as one of the center backs, but I was very surprised to see Busquets there. And then I was like, I wonder if he thinks Busquets will run less instead of being in midfield. That way he's not as tired for the midweek match against Monterrey. But then later in the game, he brings in Toto and shifts Busquets up. And obviously we were trying to like get after the game at that point, but that was shocking, to say the least. I agree. Bright had some good moments. He came off injured a little bit later. Tata in the post-game press conference that he didn't even ask Bright or the trainers what was going on, which is super promising. So we'll have to see. What comes from that, but he did look okay. He got out of a few really tight situations. And yeah, it's just trying to beat the press was scary at times. You had Saylor, you had the whole reason why New York scored their goal was because Alba and Busquets got enredado and they got in each other's way, and then Alba called off Busquets. Busquets is then out of position. Alba turns it over, and they came right back and scored right down our throat. And I felt like this was one of Alba's worst games since he's been on Miami. But I think it was because Busquets was at left center back. Because I think Alba was compensating to a certain degree. And they also didn't, like, positionally know exactly where to be, how they usually do.
It's similar to when we used to have Noah Allen at left back and Kamal Miller would technically have a bad game. And it was because of the miscommunication. It's the same thing, but with two guys who you would think would have good communication with all their history of playing together. But yeah, when you have Busquets playing a position that he just doesn't play, these things can happen. And again, this is not something that we should be worried about going forward, but it affected this match.
It's not so, and I'm responding to a comment in the chat saying Busquets has played center back plenty of times for Barca. Not at this age. And to me, it's not his capability of playing center back. He had an incredible block, one of the better blocks I've seen this season. And that's a testament to how well he understands and can play defensively. To me, it's the athleticism required to play that position in a position group that is already very slow and cumbersome. It just was worrisome to me. I'm not saying it was the end of all things. Like, do I prefer Busquets to Ryan Saylor, for example? Yes. I was just surprised Noah Allen wasn't in, so I just want to clarify that point. It's not that Busquets can't play center back. It's just
he's basically wants Noah Allen to play more. That's all I heard there.
Well, we were having our internal.
I was just surprised. That's all. Like,
remember,
at the end of the day, it was fine.
Dialogue. You had Saylor starting over Noah Allen, and I was like, really? You have Saylor over Allen? And yeah, look, Saylor did get the start over Allen, and he played the whole match.
With a 4 at the back, I think I prefer, given the injuries, I think I prefer
traditional center back.
Toto and Saylor to what we got. I just felt like
Busquets.
Busquets got in the way of Alba, and positionally they just seemed not in sync. Is
He
just
also-
how I digested the game.
Sergio also had a beautiful slide tackle that probably saved the goal. If we're being fair,
100%, 100%.
I don't think Sergio played
I
bad.
think it was around the 54th minute, more or less. I wrote that down. So it was around the 54th minute. I was like, nice save, Sergio. 54th minute. You know, random things.
Let's move on from the center back talk.
Really?
I think
It's riveting. What do you mean?
It was the wrinkle of
what do
all
you guys
wrinkles.
think?
It was the
Comments.
wrinkle of all wrinkles. If we're being blunt, right? Like seeing Busquets in the back line to me was just surprising.
Yeah, surprising. I think we have one comment. Tony Axe is like going off on us wanting Noah. I don't think any of us want Noah Allen playing center back.
Not at all.
We were just surprised that Sailor
I think
was
you
the
did,
first one.
No, Julio. I think you kind of did.
No,
like, damn it.
Julio didn't want Noah.
In my lineup that I sent in our group, I did not have Allen sniffing the starting 11.
He even said, he's like, I don't like him. I don't want him out there.
And then
we convinced him because we're like, oh, we've seen Noah Allen play center back. We haven't seen Sailor really sniff any minutes. So you would think if anyone's going to get the start, it would be Allen, as ridiculous as that is. But
yeah, he's right though. Toto was on the injury report. He was listed as questionable.
Yeah, which doesn't mean out. It means he's questionable.
Yeah, so he probably wanted to stay. He wanted to probably keep him out for a little bit and rest him up for the Monterrey game.
He probably wouldn't have played him at all if Bright hadn't gotten hurt.
Right,
potentially, we were winning the game. To me, this result is more representative of our inability to finish chances than anything else. But to me, given how the game played out, I mean, by the 70th minute, I was surprised that Tata hadn't made more subs. I was surprised that Campana hadn't come on. Tata in the postgame said that Suarez was playing so well that he didn't feel like Campana coming on as a second striker would have helped him. Which I
don't disagree, to be honest.
I don't disagree with the position picking up, but also like I don't know. I posed the question like subs, and then I quickly realized who are we bringing on, but I don't know. Like it felt like we had better options than Arenas, who came on,
Casas and Afonso.
Yeah, Casas and Afonso. And to me, I was just like Borgelin. Get some pace and size. I don't know.
Was he on the sub list?
I don't even know anymore.
I don't even know.
But the point is that these guys brought nothing. I mean, you said it. They were like wet toast. Like it was just they brought nothing.
Once they came on, like you knew your scoring chances were next to nothing. The game completely just froze. Anytime the ball found them, they wouldn't push the ball forward. They'd move back, or they would hold the ball and try to create these guys gotta know what they are, and they're not ready at this level to be creators. They're not there yet, and it felt like they didn't know their role, and that's an issue. Again,
it was a difficult situation too.
It's an issue for this match. It's not something that's going to affect us moving forward, but it's just disappointing. And it's true. We had so many chances to score in this one, and you're just angscrims away from getting a goal here and there. Suarez with some really good. I mean, he had clean shots that I feel like 80% of the time those find in the back of the net, and it's frustrating. It's just really frustrating. And on top of that, their goalkeeper, you have to commend him for being all over it, and the moment wasn't too big for him. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about this.
He had about come to mind, he had about 2 or 3 that he whiffed on that the ball just missed his toe. That it just seemed like obviously like if he would have just touched it, just tapped it in, he would have had a beautiful opportunity. There's one that it was like you joked Julio that you were like he should have just headed it. He just a power header in there. He would have literally hit the post if he was just so close. I thought he was gonna like go boom like just meet the post. Yeah. But it was beautiful. I mean, he was in it, guys. That's the thing. He was in it. He was trying his best. He was unfortunately
just trying his best.
He was trying his best, Like no, it was just he had a lot of opportunities. He found himself in the right spots a lot, very often, which is not what we had the last game, right? It's like which this is what we come to expect from him. Unfortunately, we just didn't have that next person behind him that was also matching up with what he was doing.
I also felt like everybody was deferring to him, and every attack was just get the ball to Suarez in the box.
I felt that with
Gomez. And Gomez a couple of times had an opportunity to put a ball on target, and at the last second he would just try to dump it off to Suarez. I saw a lot of. I think Robert Taylor had a really bad dummy with nobody behind him, and that would have been a nice place to just try to put one on the frame. So yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of guys.
Chelo had the chance to rip one, and he just held it, looking for the pass.
I gotta give him a pass.
I think he had a great game, but he had a chance that he should have
training sessions. 2 training sessions with this club, and yeah, he's a right back, and he found himself deep in the attack. So that's one that I'll be like, okay, give him a pass on this one. At least he found himself in that position. I mean, how often do we have Yedlin in that spot?
Yedlin was always far right wing, trying to figure out what to do, and he's I just felt like he was always going like that, and then just pass it to like an easy center back to somewhere back there, just totally killing the whole offense.
And I don't have an issue with Gressel. I saw in the comments somebody was trying to fire some daggers at Gressel. I thought Gressel played fine enough in this match. He had the set piece assist to Suarez, and also he had a couple bad corner kicks. He also put very, very dangerous balls into play. And I'm not going to fault him for being an inch away from an amazing crosser that would have been a no doubt goal. So I'm not going to fault somebody for those types of passes. And I think, there's times where he's not the athletic specimen who's going to run by people, and that I guess could be an issue. But for what he is and for what he did, I think he is exactly what we expected when we signed him. He's playing just that role now. And as long as he keeps playing to today's standard, I think we're going to get positive results more than negative.
So I think in general, the way we played today in general, it deserved the victory. We should have come out with W. Unfortunately, we just didn't capitalize. That's straight up what happened. We had the chances, we just didn't capitalize. I don't like to say that. Like, I feel like the refs kind of messed with us a few times. There was an opportunity that it was in the box, and I was like, man, I feel like Luis Suarez got fouled at one point. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I didn't see it, honestly. Like, they were trying for it. I wanted to see it, but I didn't see. I didn't see contact there.
That's what I told the ref. Open your eyes, ref.
He was battling in there. He was battling in there. That one, I don't think there was anything. There was one shortly after that he was sort of like dribbling, and I don't think he got tripped up, but I think he just eventually just fell, like he just lost his balance.
If we're gonna complain about one call, it's when they blew the whistle on when the defender slipped and Ruiz was going to be all by himself with the ball.
Yes, that's weird. That was a weird ball. That they turned. They just
I think the ref
they're coming off lockout. They're rusty too. So
I think he lost control of the game.
Oh, absolutely.
The time wasting felt very egregious. There was a lot of just weird situations. I don't know.
I thought Suarez was literally going to bite someone's ear off today for sure. For sure. He was speaking out of control. That guy was out of control. He was like, I'm tired of all these misses. I gotta punch someone in the mouth right now.
Very frustrated.
He ran by the goalkeeper and tapped the goalkeeper's hand. And the goalkeeper is there, like, grabbing onto his head. And even afterwards, like, you hit me in the head. And that Suarez was incensed. He's like, how can you say I hit you in the head? I just tapped your hand. There was like an outstretched hand. And then that's their excuse for having him just stay on the floor, because if it's a head injury, then there's time that is allowed to be wasted, and it's frustrating. That's frustrations coming out, and I'm okay with that yellow card. And I actually thought he was just going to grab somebody by the throat and just like lift them clear off the ground.
He could, then if he wanted to.
Deserved it.
So let's talk a little bit more about El Chelo. Weigandt because he was fun. He was fun.
A lot of fun.
He was a bright spot in an otherwise sort of sour match.
So you
really?
do you remember my scouting report? Are you gonna say that was
no?
Pretty...
You can
come on.
Just remind us, refresh our memory.
I don't remember. If you don't remember, I don't remember. Yeah, no, I said he has solid defense, which is true. We saw it today. The guy was pretty good. I liked him way better than Yedlin. I don't think we're gonna experience the stuff we experienced with Yedlin with him. He's kind of he's a little bit of a tough guy. I like that.
Yeah, he gave me like Gomez vibes with his engine. Like I don't know his straight line speed. I can imagine he's probably not as fast as like a Yedlin, but he seems like very relentless in chasing plays down. His passing was really tidy. He had some really good like interplay with some of the players on that side, Gressel and David Ruiz. And offensively, looks like he can bring something. Like he takes up really good positions on the wing, sometimes cuts in. Like he just plays really smart. I really liked what I saw from El Chelo today.
He's built differently from Yedlin. He's more solidly built than Yedlin, and you can see it when they're going to challenge him. He has like he just like sinks his trunk, and you're not moving him. You're not dispossessing him. So that was nice to see, and he had the ability to beat press. Twice I saw him have two guys come at him, and he was able to fake them out and go the other way. And it's just that's something that is very important with this club because we're gonna get pressed. That's something that's always been kind of our Achilles heel in transition is when we get pressed. So another player who can be pressed. It stinks that Redondo. I know we haven't mentioned it, but it stinks that Redondo's out for 8 weeks because having that pairing on that side with Redondo and Chelo, that would have been really, really nice to watch. Unfortunately, we're going to miss him for a little over 2 months. So it is good that we were able to get him in here because it would be really, really bad if we lost Redondo and as well didn't have that replacement for the right back. So I got to move forward. And yeah, Monterrey, it's going to be fun. It's here, right? First match?
That's correct. Yeah, so for those of you that didn't catch the news, Federico Redondo is out for at least 8 weeks with a LCL injury, if I'm not mistaken. So luckily he's not out for the entirety of the season, but that is quite a while for him to be out. We maybe have Benja back this week for the midweek fixture against Monterrey. We don't know. I was a little bit surprised to not see him on the bench, but also he's been out for also close to 8 weeks. So on that side, also maybe not so surprising that he was unavailable. We were hopeful, but he didn't make an appearance as a substitute, nor was he listed on the bench.
By the way, Chelo had a 7 grade on SofaScore, and it's funny. I hate to say it, but Gressel actually. I mean, I don't hate to say it, but we were just talking about how they were saying in the comments that he didn't do very well. He actually had man of the match. He had a 7.7 rating on SofaScore, so he must have played pretty good.
I thought he had a fine game.
Yeah. I didn't see anything. I mean, if he got dispossessed, it happens.
And he constantly put the ball in play. It seemed like he had some very dangerous
really
balls.
nice passes. Really nice passes in the attack. Again, if Suarez runs into one of them, it's a completely different story. So,
yeah, 100%. New York had some really good chances. They had some chances that I don't know how they didn't even put on target. To me, they definitely also could have scored more. So I think that goes both ways. But you just expect Suarez to put one of those 3 other chances that he had away more often than not. I mean, we talked about in the preview how he had heading into this match, 6 shots on target, Jose? And he had 4 goals, if I'm not mistaken. And he had 4 shots on target tonight that I can remember.
It totally blew up my statistic.
Yeah,
I kind of thought that. I was like, ugh.
My point is that you would have expected him to score 2. And given the nature of the shots, like the goalkeeper made really good saves.
And you said 4 shots on goal for him. Okay, so is that for sure 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so
at least
now think about the 2 that he just whiffed that for sure
Right.
it looked like it was going to be a
Right.
goal. Like he had so many opportunities that he never has. You know, like yeah, we can also say like yeah, a lot of times maybe we're force feeding him. Fine, I agree. I know we all notice the same thing. I agree. We force fed him, but he's a badass. Like if I'm gonna force feed anybody, I'm gonna force feed him. And it just threw us off. That's the problem. The problem is that it threw our whole offense off. How we kind of do that with Messi sometimes, where we're like we totally forget how to play soccer and we just say, okay, we got to find where this guy is, and we just forget how we play, and there's no flow to the offense. It's just basically get it to this guy. You know,
I don't mind feeding him though. Like a lot of those chances were clean chances, so like I don't have problems with those. The problems are when you're force feeding him, and there's like it doesn't make sense to make that pass. Make the right soccer play. Like that's okay, and yeah, like you expect him to make some of those shots. I mean, it is unlucky when you have clear opportunities like that and to not convert when you have a player of his quality and his like track record of sinking those. It was a little bit uncharacteristic, but I mean, a lot of it was unlucky because he did hit the ball clean exactly where he wanted, and it was just a nice save. But yeah, this is one of those games that at the end of the year, and you're looking where you drop points and trying to make up points. You're like, man, this is one that they're gonna make. Those are 2 points there that we should have had, because everything kind of rounded out for you to come away with this one easily, and we just
we
scraped by.
We had 2.48 xg, and they had like what 1.4 or something like that.
Yeah, and
So,
again,
chances,
Jose,
but
and again, if we would have gotten on the end of some of these chances that Suarez whiffed on, that XG jumps tremendously, because it obviously doesn't count because it wasn't a shot. But if he gets on the end of those, that XG jumps up by 1. Like we definitely should have won.
They had 1.23 xg. Like that's kind of so. Yeah, they had chances, but it's not this. Like we killed them with xg. Yeah, it was. Thanks, Chris. I saw that afterwards, and I'm happy that you were able to correct me.
Gressel was Miami's highest rated player according to SofaScore.
Yes,
man of the match.
At least he's here, Chris. All right.
Yeah, go back to your ship. Don't you have like a muster station drill to run?
Jesus.
So I don't.
Why don't you explain to everyone? Does everybody know?
No, go on a cruise. Figure it out.
Everybody know what?
Yeah, Chris on a cruise.
Yeah, I said he was still on the high seas.
Oh, okay. What does that mean? Who knows what that means?
A muster station is when you have to it's like a fire drill. Everybody has the safety team.
See, Northern Ties, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a safety drill on the high seas.
But anyways, this is an Inter Miami podcast. So I don't know how much more there is left to talk about this match. I think all attention now shifts to the Monterrey match. That is a massive fixture for the season. Everything is pointing towards Messi playing. I know we've had a lot of people being like, "Oh, talk about Monterrey," because like, forget about today. But a lot of this has been gearing up and shaping up to be as fit as possible for the match against Monterrey. Tata said in the post game that Christoph will not be ready for sure. It seemed like Freire has a potential opportunity to get back in the lineup by then, which is promising. I 100,000,000% expect Messi to play. I think it's all been gearing up towards him playing.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, no, other than Bright, we didn't have any injuries to the usual starters. We'll obviously be without Redondo. I'm very happy that Chelo has now been integrated. He'll have another few days of training with the team. He has a match under his belt now, so I like that position solidified by him. And before we fully move on, I thought Gomez again had a really good match. He should have shot that one time that he had his opportunity to, but again, he is the most fun non-superstar that we have on our team, in my opinion. Like, I just love watching him.
We have to unleash him. That's the only thing. Like, he needs to just I don't know. He needs to score. That was my like Dave Stradamus guess was for him to take a outside the box shot and kind of just like let loose. That's like the one aspect of his game that he hasn't just let loose. And it's just try to find the back of the net. And I get it. When you have guys like Suarez, you want to get them the ball. But people are going to tee off on Suarez. They're going to mark him everywhere. And people are going to have to start like doing something to score. It can't just be Suarez. The only one who ever even thinks about shooting is Robert Taylor, and he hasn't even started doing that. Next team we put in a striker because why not?
That's the last place I would expect. So that
I actually got excited. I got excited because
right
Ruiz was wide open for one shot, and I'm like, okay, that's a great shot, and then he hit it so terribly, and it's like, oh, okay, never mind. Just keep force feeding Suarez.
I'm fine with it.
It's like it's not happening.
That dummy today was just amazing.
Oh, that was brutal.
That Robert Taylor dummy was
brutal, man.
Quite. I mean,
I can't tell you, like just the smile I had after that, and
it was a flashback.
You should root for the success of this team, Jose, not for bad dummies.
It's not that. It's just like that was funny. That was kind of funny. That's very the other game he tripped over the ball. Like today he did a dummy.
I'll tell you this, Jose. If there was somebody behind him, look out.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
That would have been a screamer.
I would have bought a jersey.
It seems like the only one that can successfully do dummies on this team is Luis Suarez. He should teach these other people.
We should leave it to him.
He wants to teach them, but they're just dummies.
Oh, man.
So one of the things that is still hugely concerning to me is our set piece defense and our corner defense specifically. It's just like every time any team against us has a corner, I feel like they have a better chance than not to score against us. And New York, again, had a great opportunity to score on a corner kick. The ball falls to the feet of a offensive player, and he hit it just wide of the post. They hit so many that were just wide of the post, or maybe not so close to the post, but way over. But our defense is worrisome. And I know today was like extremely makeshift. But it's just I don't know.
Was it extremely makeshift? Yeah, you're right. Sailor.
It was Sailor and Busquets.
I know,
the middle was makeshift.
I'm thinking how the match ended, which was a photo, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now when that happened, so it was Sailor and Busquets still.
Yeah, I don't know.
We hit 56% possession.
Yeah, good stat.
Well, the possession in stoppage time was the worst possession I've ever seen. It was like they were tired. New York was like happy to let us have the ball in our half. And I was like, guys, like we have 9 minutes. Please go for it. For like 5 minutes, they just kept it in their own half, just passing it around. And New York was like half pressing.
And I was so worried.
Oh my God, we give it away, and then they have a 4-on-2.
I was looking at it, and I was like, this is how we lose.
Oh, I was like, this is EA scripting at its finest.
This is how we lose, and then
like show's canceled.
And then we have to do a podcast about that.
No, show's canceled. Like I got pneumonia.
Yeah,
that would have been just absolutely disastrous.
Wow, but it didn't happen. So
I'm still mad.
They did it just to make us happy that we drew. Like, hey,
I was at the end. I was like, well, Messi wasn't playing, so it's a tie.
More of the story is Messi. We want you back so badly. Like we always get crushed for saying, oh, we can do stuff without Messi. We can win without Messi. We cannot be long-term successful this season without Messi. We need Messi. Messi is the most important piece of this squad, and it shows day in and day out when Messi's not on this team. When Messi's on the team, it's like a symphony out there. When he's not on the team, more often than not, it looks like one of those bad recorder playings. That's what it is. So hopefully, just like that. Yeah. So we're gonna get Messi next match against Monterrey.
I didn't think it was that bad.
What?
It wasn't that bad.
Okay. Well, there you go. I'm more messy than bad recorder. What can I tell you?
Oh man. So yeah, I would say Messi is like number one most important. Second most important is our medical staff, which aren't very good.
Third, Redondo not playing. We haven't even touched on that.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Not enough. I don't know what to tell you.
He said we
Not enough.
haven't touched that.
Please
I
tell
haven't
us
touched
more.
on it. I haven't touched on it. How
Go
about that?
tell us more, Jose.
Was Redondo hurt on our watch, or was it in international duties?
That's a good question.
I don't know because
That's
the
what I'm
report just
saying.
came out.
How about
It was almost like an anonymous.
Yeah, it's like nobody wanted to talk about it. They're like, oh, by the way, Redondo's dead.
Someone put it in the comment box in Tata's office, and he was just reviewing it. Like at the end of the day, and he's like, "Oh shit, Redondo's hurt."
We're also happy with him too. We're like,
for 8 weeks, for eight to 12 weeks, man. 8 to 12 weeks, and just when we're so happy, we're like, oh, this guy's bringing the stuff. He's bringing the stuff.
So devastating, and it was so out of the blue.
That's so stupid, and it didn't happen with us. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that I hate about this international play. I get it. You got to go to your countries, whatever. Ugh. Not my problem. Not my problem.
So Mike V says that Messi is not the most important piece, that we have a good team and that we have a bad coach. I think we have a good enough team to win this match, to be competitive against New York Red Bulls, to beat Montreal. So I agree. I agree that it's a coach issue. I also agree it's a lot of bad coincidences. Like the finishing wasn't here today against New York. The weather was absolutely awful. And yeah, New York had to deal with it too. But there was just like, there's always these things that are at the confluence of when Messi also misses that kill us. Like today we were missing a bunch of players due to injury. Like to me, it's beyond Messi just not being in. Messi obviously like increases our odds of winning exponentially, but it always seems like Messi also misses when other things are going on, other factors outside of him.
Maybe that's just Tata's doing, or he has a built-in excuse already made if he loses. So, I mean, in that case, that's big brain right there.
Yeah,
Toto's questionable. He can't play. We're gonna put Boosie back there. If we lose, it's because Boosie was back there. I don't know how. What else did we do? I mean, how can we win if this guy back there?
Yeah, we've said it before. I just think his in-game management is just some of the worst that I've seen. I just don't think he knows how to change on the fly the tactics. Like, I mean, New York was very happy to just sit back and try to hit us on the counter once they tied the game. And we created some dangerous chances and we just didn't finish them. But that was none of Tata's doing. Like, it was just the same rinse and repeat. And we just couldn't get on the end of it. But then there was no additional wrinkle like put in. There was no, how do we counteract what they're doing to counteract us? Like, it's just, he does the first move of the chess match and then just lets everything go. Yeah. Like he just turns on like the autopilot. And to me, that's where his biggest shortcoming lies. So hopefully it all comes together against Monterrey.
I think us losing Redondo, we took a big step back without that. Honestly,
I agree. I mean, yeah, of course. It does now answer the question of where does Gressel play for the foreseeable future, because now Gressel has that spot in the midfield. Presumably Messi comes back and plays against Monterrey and then moving forward. So he'll occupy the right wing position. And it's okay. Like it's a pretty good Band-Aid to put there. Redondo plays much differently than Gressel. But Gressel's to me a good stopgap in the meantime. And it answers the question of where does Gressel play now that Chelo's in. But it sucks. Redondo was very quickly becoming one of our favorite players as well to watch. So we'll see.
It was Campana. Campana heard that you thought Redondo was handsome. and he like took out a baseball bat and just hit him in the knees.
Great. That part of the show already. We're talking about bats to people's knees.
Wait till
we got in there.
Wait till Campana hears that the most handsome man is coming to LA. God, his name is
Giroud.
Yes, Olivier. Even his name just flows off the tongue. Olivier Giroud.
Love it. All right. Seems like we're running out of steam here. So
with that, I'm getting like hot and bothered over here. Woo, woo.
It's 11:49 at this point while we're recording.
It's in this thing.
All right. So we have Monterrey coming up for our preview. Chris should be back. Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows?
He might live on that cruise ship now. So hopefully he'll be back, and we'll hopefully have some clear idea of who will be available for Wednesday. Wednesday? Is that
We'll all find out who's available on the show and the team. Stay tuned.
Tata will join us, maybe. Who knows?
No.
There's only one way to find out.
Great. Good stuff.
So we'll have the Monterrey preview. We'll go live again. That seems to be pretty enjoyable for everyone.
Guys, this just in. Chris will be back there he is.
I hope he comes back with one little braid.
That's right. And a henna tattoo.
I love Robert Taylor heart tattoo. That's
David Ruiz. David Ruiz. Come on.
True. Or Drake.
Know your people. Know your people.
All right, guys, we're definitely running out of steam. We're on fumes here. So thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, please. It helps us tremendously. And we will catch you for our Monterrey preview early this coming week, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. And for now, thank you guys for tuning into the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami, and we'll catch you on the next one.
We'll be right back.